Up, everybody? This is Jose with Oakland Latinos United, aka Oakland Latinos Unidos, on here with a new video for you guys to enjoy. Well, the video I'm going to talk about today is a string of recent, what isn't even recent, it's been going on for a few years, freeway shootings in the Bay Area. Now, I've talked a little bit about this on my lives before, and basically in the Bay Area, there's been a lot of shootings on the freeways. The Bay Area, just like many parts of big cities in California, has a whole bunch of freeways. We have the 580, the 80, the 880, the 101, you know what I mean, the 680, just to name a few. And there have been a lot of shootings around almost every freeway that you could think of in the Bay Area, as far as into San Jose, into Oakland, into San Francisco, even the 925. There have been shootings in Concord, in Pittsburgh, and Antioch. So these shootings have been going on a lot lately. You know what I mean? And I always ask myself, why is this happening? This has been going on for about, I would say at least the last 10 years. There's been like just a string of freeway shootings. And even when I was young, back in the 90s, it was rare to hear about someone getting shot on the freeway. Usually when there was a shooting on the freeway, it was like a serial shooter or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, there've been a lot of shootings on the freeways, and we'll look into some of the more local, the latest ones that have happened recently. Now, this man right here, he was shot recently on the uh, on the 80 in Oakland. That was actually what was it, 2 weekends ago. I was actually in Oakland that day. I was on First Fridays, and the man was named Ransom, and I guess he was shot on the 80 around 5 o'clock. And looks like they did arrest somebody. His name is Juan Angel Garcia of San Francisco. This guy right here was arrested in the shooting. You know what happened? Why did he shoot an old man? I mean, this is like a 65-year-old man. You know what I mean? Was it worth shooting someone that was 65? Was it road rage? Was it something else? Was it mistaken identity? You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? And this man right here, who was training to be a sheriff, was shot recently also on the 80, around the same area where the other guy was shot. His name was David Nguyen, or Nguyen, and I guess he was training to be an Alameda County sheriff, and he was shot also, shot and killed on the 80 or 880 in Oakland. And again, no one knows if it's road rage. No one knows if it was targeted. Nobody knows. You know what I mean? There was also another incident that, I was driving on the freeway on the 880 a little bit after it happened, because I remember the police had all the freeway closed off, and I didn't know what's going on. We were actually on our way to San Jose. What's this little young, basically a baby, 23-month old Jasper Wu was shot and killed, back in November, I believe. And basically someone was shooting at a car and a bullet hit a little baby. So you can see even little babies are getting killed in these shootings. You know what I mean? Now, this one, I don't know if it was the crossfire, they were trying to shoot at another car and it hit this car at an accident, or was the car that Jasper Wu's family was riding in targeted. That I don't know. But regardless of what happened, a 23-month-old little baby was killed, man. And that's just, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that, and I think anyone who does something like that, there should be no excuses or remorse for them. And that's just my take on it, you know what I mean? To me, that's just like no different than being a child molester or a chomo or any of that. You know what I mean? Anyone who kills a little baby like that doesn't deserve to be living on this earth. And I think many of you will probably agree, And there's been, even more, this young woman right here, her name was Amani Morris. She was also killed back in November near the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, coming in from San Francisco into Oakland. And many of us who live in the Bay Area, we cross these freeways every day. She was killed inside. I guess she was riding inside of an SUV, and she was actually riding with her kids in the car, and someone shot up the car. Now, was it targeted? Was it mistaken identity? Was it random? I'm not sure, but it's still crazy. There's also another incident that happened a while back where a party bus was shot up on the freeway and on the streets, killing a 16-year-old and killing a 19-year-old. This was the victim of that shooting, and she was a 19-year-old. I think she was from the Central Valley, and another 16-year-old, which is tragic. You know what I mean? It's just tragic. A young girl like this getting killed for what? You know what I mean? For what? It's just sad. It's sad, that this is going on. That people have degenerated themselves so bad that they're shooting at cars or randomly shooting on the freeways, even if they don't even if they don't hit their intended target. There's so many people on the freeway that can be hit, killed, kids, women, children, etc. So to me, this is no different than doing a drive-by shooting on the streets. You never know who you're gonna hit, you know, and it's just a degenerate culture, unfortunately. Now, the question I ask, and I want you to leave in the comments: do you think they're road rage? People are just becoming crazy. Do you think they're gang-related shootings? People being targeted? Do you think they're random shooters, like serial fucking killer shooters or something like that? Or do you think there's more to it? And why has these shootings become more frequent in the last, say, 10 years? Because before, you didn't just get hear about this at all. I don't remember ever really hearing about freeway shootings in the 90s. Even in the early 2000s. I started hearing about this around 2010, 11, 12. I started hearing about freeway shootings in Richmond, in Oakland, and in different cities, you know what I mean? In Pittsburgh and Antioch. So, they happen quite frequently. And what's going to be done to change this, man? Because this is just unacceptable, degenerate behavior. And yeah, man, I ride a lot of these freeways all the time, and and I'm pretty sure a lot of you watching these videos do as well. And it's scary, and it's crazy, and it's messed up. But what can you do? That's just life in the Bay, right? So that's all I have to say. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. This host said with Oakland Latinos United. Late.